Have you ever weighed all the yarn you have in your house? I know I haven't, and I honestly have no idea how much I have, because it's spread out all over in all sorts of containers and places. But a couple of weeks ago, my crochet business friend Veronica from Helsinki made this video where she weighed and organized everything she had in her house. So I decided that I want to do the same. I'm not really sure how big a job it's going to be, but I'm going to do it. You will see that I have lots of very small amounts, single balls of yarn, and almost everything is brightly colored because that's what I use. I make small things. I need yarn for all sorts of samples and things. Plus, of course, I have made some larger things, so then there's a little bit left. You could guess now how much my stash is going to weigh, and then check at the end if you were right. Let's start on it. I'll use these containers to weigh them and then take the weight of the container itself off the full weight. I'm using these scales, so that one for bigger things, and that's a luggage scale, and that's basically for letters, so if there's some very small amounts. I'm starting with this here shelf that I have next to where I film. It goes right down to the floor. I thought that these would all fit into the small basket, but they don't. So here goes the first one to be weighed. Oh my, more than I thought. Right, so I'll show the spreadsheet now. Here's my spreadsheet, and then the way it works, I'll write here how many grams I had. That was 2,500. And then here I have the different containers. So it was that pink basket, so that's 670. And the way I have this set up is that the full amount of what I'm getting adds up to here always in kilograms. And then I know that some people prefer pounds to kilograms, so I have another one, so this automatically changes the how many pounds. But there are no ounces mentioned in here because I myself don't understand anything about non-metric measurements, but it's just it will show here, you know, how many pounds, but in decimals. So all the amounts that I'm going to be weighing will be in here, and then it will add them up in these two here. I put them back now, and there's actually some room here. Plus I will want to have more nice bright colors around here that shows from my video background. Next, this here floor vase that I have had in my living room for years, and at one stage it was full of my prettiest yarns, but now it's just a mix of whatever, so it really needs to be sorted out anyway. There it goes. That was 3,040 grams, and then the container the same. So I already have that much, and I have only just started. And I organized the yarn in the vase, and I'll be adding more to it too. Maybe brighter colors. At the moment there's so much of that dark purple yarn there. And I put away a few that I won't ever use. Like that there. Then the next one. Here. I was affiliate to a yarn subscription box company, Knit Crate, for several years, and they closed down suddenly during COVID, but I still have all these. The problem with many of the subscription boxes is that you get one or two skeins or hanks of yarn, and it's sort of hard to think of what to do with such small amounts, but I'll weigh these. Then these here, this is all sock yarn leftovers, So they are wool with a little bit of something to make them stronger, and then the rest are glitter yarns and novelty yarns. So let's see about them. I knit socks all the time. My daughters, none of them knit, and in Finland everybody needs knitted wool socks much of the year. Here's the glitter yarns. By the way, it's always worth putting an elastic over these spools so they don't come out, and rolling the label and putting it inside them. And now I'll add the last 3 I weighed. So first the knit crate yarns, that, and they were in the large container. Then the sock yarns, and they were in that wicker basket, which was smaller, and the glitter ones also in the wicker basket. Right, so this is what I have so far, and then continue. Next I'll tackle these here, and it's really messy, so I'll have to see what there really is there. This here is a box where I have just thrown anything that I didn't know where it would go, and actually at the bottom there's other stuff than yarn as well. No doubt some of these will go into the charity box and some simply into trash. Like I can feel that this is cheap acrylic. This here has so many memories. As you can see, it's been frogged. I was, I think, about 11 or 12 when I made a sweater, a polo neck sweater out of this yarn, and I loved it. I found a school photo of myself wearing that sweater, 1975. In this here drawer, there's all sorts of like cottons, well, tencel as well. This whirlette is nice. Many years ago, it was such a fashion in Finland and Sweden to crochet using masonry cord that both countries ran out of it in every store. I made some things like these here bags. And I love these cute tiny balls of yarn. I found these. I haven't seen them for years. They are silk embroidery thread, and I bought them in order to crochet earrings. So now I can do that. There's lovely colors in them. I bought them years ago in London in the knitting and stitching show in Alexandra Palace. I said about the previous drawer that it was cotton, but that was mixed. But these actually are cotton. Many larger balls of crochet cotton. So they go next, and I'm planning to measure all these here in this here unit before I fill in the spreadsheet. These here are almost all for felting. So thick untreated wool plus some of this here Finnish wool that is sold in every supermarket. People use it a lot for socks especially. It's not great quality and it's very rough, so I hardly ever use it. That's why it's here in a separate compartment. In here, there are lots of yarns that I use all the time for samples, like for stitch tutorials and things. That's why there's a lot that's just been thrown in there. So I weigh them first, and then, like with the others, but I haven't filmed that, I wipe and dust the shelves too. There's this and that here. Like I have that somewhere else too, reflective. I just realized now that this here, I have used this wool for socks, and somebody was just telling me that they broke, and no wonder, this is 100% wool. Sock wool needs to have 15 to 25% of something that strengthens it. Several of these here with sequins. So now we have 6 things to add in here. The first one was that the mixed box of yarn, and that was 1,800. And I put it into that larger basket, the pink one. So that. Then the next one was where there was all the masonry threads and things like that. That was 1430 in the smaller container. So we're getting close to 10 kilos now. Then the large balls of crochet thread was 1115. So that passed 10 now. And next, the felting yarns, that was more. The glass doors at the top, left one and right one, and both had this here. So until now we have this here. I think I'm more than halfway through now, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I think I'll find a bit better what I'm looking for. One more to do there. All this baby wool was there. I didn't realize I had this much. And there are many that I have started without probably noticing that there already was one that had been started. These are drops merino, and these are all baby wool, so 100% wool, superwash treated, so it's machine washable, which makes it easier for baby families. I have 2 walk-in closets, and of course some yarn is in them. These are yarns I use a lot. Gjesdal from Norway. It's the same yarn and colors in 2 weights. It's typical sock yarn, 85% wool. I keep it in many colors because I use it a lot in all sorts of small colorful items. Also when designing like Christmas stuff. And many of the samples on my videos are also done in this here yarn. So I'm adding these 2. They actually had almost the same amount. The worsted weight one called Janne was 1960, and the sport weight one, Maija, was 2000. And both had this here. So that's them added in there, and the amounts are growing. Next, all these cottons, mainly single balls as well, for the same reason as the Maija and Janne, that I make small colorful items. And I don't actually need to take these out of this because I have an empty container of the same. Ooh, the scale nearly went right round. There are many different brands here, but all are approximately the same weight, and almost all are full cotton. Just very recently I used all the pinks and lilacs here to make a summer top for myself. And then there's these, mainly fine crochet cottons for lace crochet. These remind me of my mother. She used to crochet a lot of lace with tiny hooks, and she taught me also to crochet fine lace before I was even 10 years old. Oh no, yarn here too. I keep finding odd bags and baskets with yarn. I'm going to weigh all these now, but I'll sort them out later, or I will never finish this video this week. I also found some linen yarn spools that I have used in weaving on a floor loom. This kid mohair feels just so lovely. Have to make a scarf with it. Back to the spreadsheet, and now we have 3 things to fill in here. First of all the cottons that were in the green box, and the box itself was 555 grams. Then the crochet threads. And then the third one, I weighed all these that I had set out from all different baskets and bags and whatnot, and then I counted them together. So there's just one figure for that here now. It's quite a bit. And in that I have already calculated the containers out of it. Oh my goodness. So I'm now at 26 kilos already, because all that mixed, there was quite a lot in there. So I'm already at 26 kilos, or almost 60 pounds. But we continue. There's not actually a lot left. And I hope I'm not going to find anything more. I'm actually scared to walk around my home in case I find more yarn somewhere. But now there's this here and this. Oh, I have a couple of these rabbits here. I've been throwing them here and there. Did you watch the video where I was counting how many of these rabbits I was able to do in whatever number of hours? That's why there's so many of them still everywhere. This here is natural untreated wool from Finn sheep, and it comes from the village where I was brought up. I knitted a sweater with this and it took far less yarn than I thought, so that's why I have so much left. It's so light and soft and warm. I said in the beginning that I have two walk-in cupboards. So there's this one corner of the second one where I have yarn, especially this here, full of bamboo. I love the bright colors in these here. These are Danish yarns. It's bamboo with 30% cotton in it. And there's two weights in the same colors. These are double knitting and these are sports weight. Bamboo is a great option for somebody who, for whatever reason, doesn't use wool. It's softer and warmer than cotton, but you do have to be careful with it. I mean, it's made out of bamboo cellulose, and when it's wet, it stretches a lot. So when you work with bamboo, you need to be careful to always shape it flat to the right size while it's wet. And it's antibacterial, so anytime I make kitchen cloths, I always use bamboo. Wow, now that I organize them, I can find what there is, and they all fit into their box much more easily. Here's the rest from their walk-in closet. These are leftovers from a commission for the Simply Crochet magazine. And I didn't remember I had this lovely color in veluta, and that there, all these, is something that a local yarn store was selling after an old lady with lots and lots of yarn, far more than me, had passed away, and her family asked if she could sell it on. So I'm going to use these for some Christmas stuff. It's shiny, and these also have sequins on them. This box has slightly heavier yarns in it, mainly Aran weight. And finally, the last quick thing to weigh. I keep tiny scrap yarn balls as if they were ornaments. These have a place on my antique dresser together with my mother's 1950s vases. And this is in the hall. I put them all here. And this is the last weigh. Oh my, even that's nearly half a kilo. So now we have the last ones to fill in, and there's 6 of them. And we start with the heavier bamboo, Bomix, and then the slightly finer bamboo. And it was in a heavy basket, so that was 1,001 kilo. And then all that mix that was in the back walk-in closet, there was a lot of that. There. So it keeps growing, 33 by now. And then that wooden box with like Aran weights or heavier, there was a lot there too. But also the box was heavy, so that will come off that. And then the white rounded basket, quite a bit there too, and the basket was heavy enough. And the last one, and then we will see, oh right, I was wondering if it would come to 40, but it won't. And the last one was those tiny scraps I had, and that was 455. And there was no weight practically for the bin bag I weighed them in. So this is the final, almost 39 kilos, or just over 85 pounds. Whew. I must say I'm surprised. I didn't think it would come to as much as that. You would see that even in this here poll that I published a few days ago in my community tab, asking people to guess how much I had. The different choices I gave were something that I seriously thought that it could be any of those. Not that the result would be way over the biggest choice I gave there. I was doing this over 4 days, so a lot has not been filmed at all. For instance, there was a lot of dusting and wiping with wet cloths before I put the yarns back. And I also found some things that have been lost since I moved about a year and a half ago, like all my necklaces were in one box under a box of yarn. So I'm glad about that too. So far I haven't decided to put away much. This here is going to the charity shop and maybe more later. I'm sure you would enjoy doing this too. If you do, tell me in the comments if you were able to guess beforehand how much yarn you would have, whatever the amount is, but did you know how much you were going to have? I sort of guess that most of us have more than we think. But enjoy all the yarn you have. Until next time.